Hola. Welcome to For the Plot. We're going to be answering just some writers' questions, just some things as writers that we've experienced and debated and learned from other writers. And our first question is, would you rather write in first person or third person? And what's the advantages and differences of both?
I naturally tend towards first person.
Okay,
Even
first
if I
person.
want to write third person, I will naturally find myself writing in first person.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Probably it's just more personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're
And
more
so
like connected to the characters?
a little bit. If I really get into their head, I start writing as though I'm that character. And so the first person kind of naturally comes out.
So it's like you're embodying the character.
Little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Interesting. But doesn't that make it hard if you want to like switch characters?
That is because, like, for one story, I do write in third person and I find myself switching to first. I have to go back because I do want to switch between characters. But at the very least, it helps me get into their head when I
Ah.
flip into doing that.
Interesting. So you'll write in first person and then go back and switch it because it's easier to switch characters.
It's easier to switch characters in third person. Yeah.
That I can see is true.
Interesting. What do you do, Cassidy?
I just do flat out first person. I almost never do third person except when I'm like, okay, I'm specifically going to write this very short flash fiction or story in third person specifically so I could practice getting better at it.
Mm-hmm.
I do like getting in the character's head, and it just seems easier for me to describe the story and what's going on and tell the story as if it were me through the character than to figure out how to like successfully and not weirdly tell the story saying she did da da da, she said and he said, and then it just feels more telly to me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, the whole writing show not tell.
Yeah.
I feel like third person feels more tellish to me, and I don't know how to make it show.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in first person, it feels more showy to me, and
Because it's more personal.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's more of the character experiencing it than.
I find pinch points easier to do in third person, though. Because you can kind of switch and go see the villain's point of view from like a bit of a removed position.
Yeah.
And in first person, it's kind of hard to do.
Yeah. But pinch points don't always necessarily need to be from the villain's POV. It could also be something that the villain is doing off screen that has come back to get your character, basically. And it affects your
pinch point?
A pinch point is basically when you show opposition, a force of opposition in your book. So in the regular 3-act story structure, I think there are 3 plot or pinch points. One is after the inciting incident.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think there's one per each act, and it's basically where you take your antagonist and you have them do something like further their goal to basically put more obstacles in your character's path.
And it kind of builds suspense too, because then you as the reader know this is what's happening, but the character may or may not be fully aware of what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah,
I've heard that term used a lot, but I never really understood what it meant.
Yeah, it's like you're pinching the character, just being like you're not gonna like what's coming.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
What about you, first or third person?
So I like writing in third person more because I like the freedom to not say a ton about what my character is feeling because I don't like getting in their head a lot. But I've been recently trying to write in first person because I think I want to work on getting like more personal with my characters.
Yeah.
And so I've been trying that.
Yeah.
But I think it's a lot harder for me to do first person because it's just the way I think through my stories. I don't think in first person. I think definitely in third because I've only world built. So it's like you're always in third person when you're world building.
Kind of
So
true.
it's like
little bit.
You're bouncing around everyone. It's like, okay, I know what I'm doing, but then in first person, it's like you're only seeing it through one character's eyes,
Yeah.
and like,
And so if you want to switch POVs at all, it gets really hard. And I like switching POVs a lot. So
Same.
yeah, so third person works for me, but then when I
True.
do when I do one particular character and I just focus on them for a while, I'll like kind of start drifting into it because I'm like
Yeah.
so deeply into their brain, and I'm like,
Yeah, and I think like a good thing that could help with that if you wanted to do like all POVs in first is to like write out your section in that POV and then like stop, take a day, just go through your normal things, kind of forget about it, and then like maybe before you write, come back and do like listen to music based off of your character, the character that you're going to go into, or draw them, or just get into the feel of them more. So it's kind of like a mental reset. So it
yeah,
might be easier. But like another thing I saw that was really cool, um, I saw it in Michael Vey. It's a middle grade series. I forget the author as of right now. But what was really cool was they had the main character. But he met a bunch of other people and they formed like a team because they all had superpowers. And so he did so for the multiple POVs, he had whenever the main character was in POV, it would be in first person. But then in later books, he switched it to be the POV of some of the other characters. And in those ones, he did third person.
huh?
So then it kind of felt like, as I was reading it, I was still reading it from Michael's POV, but like he was explaining what the other characters were doing.
That's interesting.
huh?
So yeah, that was like a really cool thing I noticed. And so that way you can like even if you have a lot of POVs, you can still make it sound and seem like it's coming from your one main character.
Hmm.
So yeah, that was really clever. And I was like, wait, I should put that in my back pocket.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever seen that done in a series.
Yeah, no, me either.
Yeah.
It's really good. You guys should read it.
One thing that will affect my writing is what POV is in a book I've been reading recently. So if I'm reading a book in third person and I'm trying to write a first person POV, I will switch to third person because I've been in a third person like perspective book.
Huh.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
pretty interesting.
It's kind of the same with like if I read a lot of Tolkien and I'm trying to write like a contemporary, suddenly I will explain the contemporary like it's Middle Earth.
Oh my word.
That's really funny. I love
Oh man.
Uh,
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah. Sadly, I don't think my reading experience and my writing experience overlap that much.
Yeah.
I feel like it's like just two different things. So I could be reading a third person book and I'd still immediately want to go to first person.
So it's like completely detached for you.
More than it is meshed.
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, my writing definitely mirrors what I'm like reading or listening to, because my thoughts even switch to like the way the book reads. It's kind of weird,
Interesting.
but it's kind of fun. I don't know.
Mhm.
It's you go from like sounding like you're writing a middle grade to all of a sudden like where did Jane Austen come in here?
Yeah. Well, not for me, but
Well, that general like
Yeah.
writing style.
Yeah. Just the difference.
Oh.
that's true. So if you had to pick, like, which do you use the most, first or third?
First.
First.
Yeah.
Okay. First.
I do feel like I have started more books in first.
Okay.
I've had to like for the third person books I have had to consciously think about like
Yeah.
will it be better to use third because I want to.
Hmm.
But of all the books that I've started, most of them are in first.
Okay. So most books you do are in first.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Or if I have like a series, I'm like, well, this whole series is going to be first, regardless of who the main character is.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I've only written now in first for most of my writing, but I want my main series, I think, in third.
Mm,
because of the amount that it switches and the things that it covers. I need to cover a lot of ground.
right.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like that would work for your story
Yeah.
better.
yeah, but yeah, right now I think first would be my go-to,
Mm,
and then I might switch it later.
Yeah.
But it's pretty even split for me because I haven't done a ton of writing yet.
mm-hmm.
So it's just like it's kind of up in the air.
It also depends on how many characters I have. If it's focused on like one main character, then generally I'll just naturally go into first. But if I have like a whole set of characters that are play kind of an equal role,
Mhm.
then I'll naturally want to do third because then I'll want to be able to like switch from each character whenever it's necessary, depending
Mhm.
on where they are, if they're not like always in a group together.
Huh. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's interesting. So first,
Yeah.
even though you're like,
Even-
even though your 2 books that I've read are in third,
Oh, that's true.
and then
Well, that's like that's
Right.
because it's the whole series.
yeah,
The whole series is gonna be in third.
yeah. I think that's the same with me. It's like if I'm just gonna do like a one-off and it's not like my main thing, I'm gonna try to do it in first because you're closer to the
Yeah.
character. But in a world where I've done way too much world building, it's like you probably need to experience this in third.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I'm in first, the descriptions are gonna go a little too crazy.
What are y'all thoughts on like books that switch first person POVs between two characters, like every other chapter? And it's like two main characters, but they're both first person.
I
Is that
think
confusing? Or
the
is that
only time it's confusing is when in the beginning of the chapter they don't say or have someone or have something that says the character's name that you're switching into. Because I've
Yeah.
read books where it works really well because it's like they're talking to someone and the person just keeps addressing them like for the first like couple lines of dialogue and it's like
okay.
Charles,
So did they not
hey
have?
Charles. Charles, what are you doing? And then it's like, yeah, whenever he says I'm like, okay, so this is Charles. And then we switch to Linda and it's like it'll be like Linda. Oh, we went and got Linda's book, right? And then it's like even if it's just in the first page, then the more you read on, it's like you're saying it's like, okay, so that's Linda. But I've also read other books whenever they switch and they don't, I'm like, oh wait, this isn't Charles. Why? Oh, this is Linda. That makes so
Yeah.
much sense. Why did you just walk into the
I'd
women's
say
bathroom?
for-
Like, I'm like, okay.
I'd
It-
say for most of those kinds of books, they, as far as the ones I've read, they always have like underneath the chapter heading, or maybe the chapter heading is just the name of the character.
Mhm.
And that's what I'm gonna do
Oh,
for
yeah.
my book. It's like chapter 1, Sahara.
Yeah.
Chapter 2, Storm. Chapter 3, Sahara. Chapter 4, Zykin, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was also this one book that I read, and it's the only book I've ever seen this done where the header was for each of the pages of that person's POV. They would have a header with the name. So like even if you forgot or missed it, then you could like see which POV is which. And I really want to learn how to do that for Into the Woods because I'm gonna have like 9 POVs.
Oh,
And
wow.
so
Oh man.
it might be really helpful to have one of the names of the characters as the headers.
I had
Yeah.
one
So-
contemporary book I wanted to write where it's two best friends, but I want both POVs to be like equal. And I thought about
Mhm.
just doing away with chapter titles and just being like, this is Harry's
Yeah.
POV, this
Yeah.
is Mitch's POV. Like that's just the chapter title is their name.
Yeah, that's a good plan.
Yeah. I've seen it done when they did do the names. It's like, but they didn't do like the addressing thing. And that I still got lost with it. So I would
True.
probably do
Yeah.
both if you're going
Yeah,
to do it. It's like,
yeah.
okay, here's the character we're going into.
And then
And
be
make sure their
to
name is
mention
mentioned
it
pretty early on
sooner.
so that you adjust.
Yeah.
What if it's like just like making sure the characters are different enough from each other that they could be doing an action that only one character you'd think of
Yeah.
doing?
That
So,
works
like-
mainly with like different gendered characters, like if it's a girl and a guy.
True.
But like
True.
there's a lot. As a writer, it'd be very difficult unless it's like polar opposite characters to like
Yeah.
switch like two guys. There's gonna be some similarities regardless.
That's true.
Even if one is like really quiet and really timid and the other guy is like really bold. There's gonna be certain things that's like it doesn't cross over. But I definitely think if your characters are different, that it like
It will
helps
show.
Yeah.
because it's like that will also be an adjustment. That's just like, oh, this is clearly Linda,
Yeah.
not
Charles.
well, it's obviously not Charles, but it's also not Sarah.
True.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Who are these characters?
I don't know. We should write a
Yeah.
book about them.
Yeah. Linda, Charles, and Sarah.
Wow.
Yeah. Interesting. So, first, but occasionally third when we want to is kind of what I'm getting.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, kind of like that because it makes sense.
It's like old press meeting when you want to do third. You're like, okay, what are the pros and cons?
You're
of
like,
this?
are we sure we want to do
Yeah.
this?
Yeah,
Yeah. All right. So, our next question is, ooh, what method or way do you use to flesh out a character? What do you do
Oh,
to
boy.
flesh out a character?
Ooh.
I don't think there's just one method or way.
Yeah.
But like what's your go-to? If you have to figure out a character, let's say all you know is a name and maybe like a weapon or some way they're coming in the plot. How do you figure out that character?
Ooh. I had to do this with my short story because I created like 5 entirely new characters in a short span of time. Had to figure out who they were and like what, like kind of just what their personality was like. I
Mhm.
always already have a general concept of the character in my head.
Yeah.
It's like they just kind of appear and I'm like, okay, so they're like cargo shorts and, you know, colored hair kind of person.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm like, I already have kind of an idea of who they are, but then I
Yeah.
have to. I usually try and like find music that I think matches kind of their vibe.
Mm-hmm.
And I just like keep listening to more and more of that particular kind of music until I kind
Yeah.
of get an idea for more of who they are, like in their head.
So listening to music that you would think would like line up with their character?
Yeah. But also like I have to kind of curate it. So I'll listen to a
Yeah.
lot of music, but then I'll like pick and choose which ones
Mhm.
fit the best.
So you just have like playlists that are like Linda.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I know my sister. She does that for a lot of her characters. She has like I think 40 playlists now, just because she's like, oh, this one song's perfect for this
Yeah,
one. And,
yeah.
oh, this one fits the vibe, and
Yeah.
like she'll just send me. I'm like, yeah, like what's one of your favorite playlists? And then she'll send it. It's like Sun Soul. I'm like, what does that mean? She's like, it's a character. I'm like, oh,
Same with my mom.
yeah.
I had like 6 different playlists, each with about 3 to 5 songs on each one, dedicated for each character. And it's like Cat, Storm, Zara. And my mom's like, what are these? And I was just like, it's taking up too much room.
Yeah.
The things I go to my mom with when I need help with my stories, I'm like, I'll just like run up to her and be like, I need 5 British penguin names. And she's just like, where did that come from?
Oh my. Ooh,
She gave them to me. I don't know where
Why
she
do
got
you
them,
need
but
5 British penguin
Where-
names?
fantasy.
What is this
Fantasy.
for?
For the fantasy book.
okay.
For the
Wow.
penguin characters.
Okay.
Wow.
But they were all British.
I see.
Very interesting.
Can we give them the little Mana glasses?
Monocles.
Mon-
Oh man. Yeah. How do we flesh out a character? What's our method? So personally, my method is I do use music, but it's not necessarily specifically tailored. I have a few
Mm.
songs that I'll listen to and I'll be like, "Oh, that's so that character." And I'll put it in a playlist. But weirdly enough, when I'm writing or trying to get into the head of the character, I don't play that music. I often don't play music at all. I just like I try to think as if I was that character.
Mm-hmm.
So the
Yeah.
first thing I do is I try to go back in their history. And I'm like, what have they been through? And if I don't know what they've been through, I make it up.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is where they're from, and I just kind of go from there. And I know where they need to be in the plot, and I know like kind of how they need to act, at least in the beginning. So I get them up to the point that I know, and I give them lore and history. And it normally adds more depth because it's like, oh, they are going to act this way. But it's not going to be a shallow reason why. It's going to be a layered reason because I've
Yeah.
now just spent 15, 20 minutes, sometimes just 10, going over what they've gone through. And then I get to their point, and I'm like, okay, now I know. Then it's like, now how will they react in relation to my other characters that I already know, in relation to the world, in relation to what are they going to do? And then it kind of all falls into place.
Mm-hmm.
You always kind of have to think of the history in my mind because otherwise I'm like, I don't even know what's happening.
I do something
Wow.
similar where it's like, because I specifically come up with the present events that are going to be in the book, but then I'm like, well, if this happened, then this had to happen, and I backtrack in that way,
Yeah.
and then use
Yeah.
that to kind of see why they would act one way or another.
Yeah. I
Very
say I'm kind of the opposite of you, Jack, but like in a similar way.
Okay.
Whereas I understand that for me, the character is the whole point of the story. And if there's no character, then there's very little, if any, story. And so if I only have a name and like a rough generalization of what they look like and like the weapons they use
Mm-hmm.
and what they are, kind of, if they don't have like any layers, I will figure that out first. I will figure out what their arc is in the story and what they're going to start out as and how they're going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
So for Sahara specifically, she has a failure arc. So right now, in order to determine who she is, I'm like, oh, well, she has a failure arc. So she needs to start out thinking that everything, that success is the only thing that can define her. And if she fails, then she's worthless. So your
Mhm.
success defines your worth. And so she needs to end up being like, oh, yeah, it's okay to make mistakes because humans aren't perfect and you won't be able to be perfect and succeed in everything you do.
Yeah.
And so then we have like a general, oh, she needs to be very like anxious and kind of paranoid and very like wary of what she does and just hard on herself too. And so that kind of adds layers to that.
Yeah,
And
it's like because you know the arc, you know like the
yeah,
template of how they're gonna be.
yeah. And then you can figure out what has happened in their past to make them like that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I tend to flesh them out more.
So you do the opposite exactly. of what
Yeah, I
do.
go forward rather than backwards because in order to go forwards, then you can figure out if you know where she is currently and where she needs to end up, then you can figure out what has gotten her to the point of where she is. Like what mistakes has she made? How has Sahara failed? And how has that made her believe that success is what defines her and if she fails, she's worthless? And then you can build off of how is she going to slowly overcome that. So yeah.
So we all have a version of it that we do.
Yeah.
It's not like, as
Yeah.
far as like the character's life goes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I also like to have a specific like moral that character represents, at least for Into the Woods when I have like my 5 or so protagonists. Obviously Sahara's going to be the main one, but I also have other characters. And I like them to specifically for that one represent something. So Sahara represents what would be the word? Kind of just faith or like belief in yourself, like
Yeah.
just knowing that I usually summarize it in a one-word concept. So just believe, like knowing that failure is okay. And you're not going to be able to get around that. And for like Alex, it is gosh, now I'm blanking on the words. Alex is just I think Alex is faith actually. Just not his whole character is everyone he's loved has left him. And so his misbelief and thing he needs to overcome is one, letting the ones he love like go out into the world without him being like overprotective and constantly anxious about them.
Yeah.
And having faith that they will be okay and that they will stay with him. And Kat's is insecurity, where she's very proud and insecure of herself. And she needs to get through that. Crystal's is individuality, making sure, like, reminding people that they aren't underneath someone's shadow and that they need to kind of become their own person, because Crystal has been basically manipulated into believing that if she's not with the person who kind of manipulated her, then she's nobody and she can't do anything
Okay,
herself.
so you have it like you attach a moral to them.
Yeah.
And then that explains who they are and
Yeah.
also what their character arc will
Yeah.
like teach
And
them.
then I like it to like help just slowly remind the reader of all of these things and
Yeah.
kind of just let them know.
Hmm.
So yeah.
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah. One of the other things I do, Pinterest boards.
Pinterest boards.
I have thousands of
Yeah.
pins on my Pinterest boards. Just if it fits the vibe of the character, I add it.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I can just scroll through this wall of what reminds me of the character, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like, and even I'll see stuff, I'll be like, oh, maybe this was like an object that they had, and I'll add it to the board. Or, oh, this looks like a pet that they would have, and I'll add it to the board. And
Definitely like the mundane little things too.
yeah. Yeah. Like the little
Figuring that
things
out.
that like stick in the back of your head
Mm-hmm.
that are like kind of part of your past, but it's like,
Hmm.
do they mean anything to anyone else? No, but to this particular character,
Just makes
like,
them more real.
exactly. Yeah.
Having
Very
like
interesting.
a favorite animal, or like, oh yeah, like my character always goes for the ribs at the tavern because it's her favorite meal ever.
Yeah.
kinda
Yeah,
thing.
just like little aspects of them.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's
No.
cool.
Little things about the character make them really personal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just like collect them.
I just collect like everything.
Yeah.
Or if it's like depending on where they're from too. Like, okay, are
Mhm.
they from like an area with a lot of pine trees? I'll add like kind of some elements of
Yeah, like a
of
smell
that.
or something.
Yeah, or like, oh, are they from the beach? Okay, pictures of like the shore or a lighthouse and like stuff like that.
Yeah, just stuff that gets you thinking about who they are.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good idea. Yeah. Whenever I am working on a character and I can't figure out, and I'm like stuck, I'm like, I don't even know how this character would act. I get a drink, like I get a soda
no.
of some kind. I just down the thing, and then I get a notebook out or a sketchbook and a pen, and then I just start writing things. And I'll normally
Wow.
start in the where are they from, what's their history,
Mm-hmm.
but then things just start coming to me left and right. And
It's like
The power
Yeah.
of caffeine.
starting capitalist doesn't
Yeah.
start here, then they have to go this other way. That's genius.
yeah, no, seriously, that's exactly how I figure out stuff. So for
Oh my.
a lot of my characters, it's just a bunch of random stuff that I'm like, yeah, they just do this, and there's just this one reason why, and that's it.
Yeah.
I also observe real people. I'm like,
Oh.
okay, so and so
True.
has a habit of doing this with their, fingernails when they're
Yeah,
talking.
like little
I'm like,
little
oh,
quirks.
yeah. And I'm
little
like, I can
things.
incorporate that into a character. Like, oh, whenever she's bored or whenever so and so's nervous, like they do this little thing.
Yeah.
And it adds just something else. And then maybe I'll attach like a deeper reasoning behind that kind of aligns with a misbelief
Yeah.
or something.
That's not always necessary though.
Not always necessary, but I like doing it sometimes.
Yeah.
So have you been observing us and like just taking notes? You're just like, oh, so he picks his nose, or like, and just adding that in, or like,
Sometimes.
oh, okay, oh, great.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be reading your book. I'm gonna be like, oh, he gasps a lot in this. Yeah. I don't know.
He does this thing with his tongue where he.
The way he always spills water on himself when he's nervous.
Whoops. It's not even when I'm nervous. I spill water all the time. Yeah.
Oh.
It's a
You'll just
curse.
like, you'll play with your hair.
Yeah.
You'll sit there and you'll like twist it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, no, that's very interesting. All right. So, final question is, what would you say is your greatest strength as a writer, as an author? Or even if you're not writing, like what is your greatest strength in creation, in storytelling?
Probably finding internal conflict for the characters.
Okay.
Maybe because I like torturing them. But
Okay.
I like
very reasonable.
creating some sort of mental obstacle for them to overcome. And so I think I do that most, which is probably one of my strengths, just because I enjoy doing it. I do it so much.
Yeah.
I have to have some sort of like obstacle mentally for them to overcome, and it's really satisfying.
Just figuring out what the character has to
Yeah.
overcome or grow through.
Yeah, and it's a bit of a puzzle too. So it's like little tiny things from their past can all come together to make them who they are, but then they have to do something in the story to become a better person.
Huh. Very interesting.
So I'd probably say that.
Yeah. I think mine is definitely world building.
Yeah.
Just
Really?
yeah.
Really?
I have world building disease and a half. I've been world building for like 12 years and I've written 4 pages maybe of this story.
What about your short story and
Yeah.
your flash
Okay, I
fiction?
guess that technically is the same world. So I've written a
Yeah.
little more now, especially since coming
But you were forced
to
to.
college. Yeah, I was forced to.
You were
Yeah.
forced
That's
to.
why I came here. I was like, they're gonna make me write.
Exactly.
Um,
Let's put myself through that while I'm still sane.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely not sane, but yeah, it's a lot of fun just trying to figure out like the world the characters have to inhabit, and oftentimes it does reflect the characters because the characters are like the main piece of the puzzle, but the world itself has to make sense for the characters.
Yeah.
If the world doesn't match up, then it's just
Huh.
it just doesn't make sense. And it really bothers me when I'm reading a story and like the characters are really cool and they're going through, but the world I just hate so much. It's like the vibe is so off, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's like if they had put more work into the world, it would be so much better. It's like you're missing part of the puzzle.
That explains the other night when you were trying to like figure out
Yeah.
the science behind my portal, and I'm like, it's just there. Like, it's a
like,
mystery.
Well, at that point,
Yeah.
I feel like you don't need to go too deep into literally everything.
Not literally
But-
everything, but if
It's good to have
if it
things on
plays-
hand.
if it plays
Yeah.
a part in the story at all, you have to have more understanding in it than the reader does. Otherwise, it bothers me.
Yeah.
Because I can tell when like.
But
the
that's how
writer
you
just
got
doesn't
kind
know.
of stuck in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the issue is, I don't ever write. I don't even try to write. It's not like I sit down and I'm like, it's blinking and I'm just like.
You're gonna be such a successful author one day.
It's like I haven't even tried because I'm like, I haven't done enough world building in my world.
Maybe make your world simpler.
No. Yeah, no. But for other stories, it's like I will still do a lot of the world building, and then I'll write a bit. And if I start writing, I know if I've done enough world building or not. Because with my short story, I started writing it, and I was like, okay, I kind of have a general like grasp of what's going on, and I'm writing, and I'm like, I don't really know what this place is like at this point in the story. So I went back and I thought about it and I figured it out. And once I understood the places and I was like, and I built out the world and I saw how they all interacted with each other, and then I came back and I wrote it. That's when everything started. Like the
Yeah.
plot itself and the characters felt alive in the world because I
okay.
knew exactly where they were coming from and where they were
Okay.
going and what the switches and changes and how they would react to everything. Because otherwise, I'm like, what are they doing? They're just like, I'm here now. Like it was just kind of dull.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
that's why at the end of my story and a little bit in the middle, it's like, oh, it starts to all kind of come together. Is because I'm no longer floundering around trying to figure out where I am and what's going on.
Yeah.
I know where I am. I know where they're going. I know why they need to go where they need to go because of the history.
Mm-hmm.
And because the history of the world has to coincide with the history of the characters.
That's true.
So for me, understanding the history is extremely important.
Yeah.
So
I feel like in my stories, for the most part, I do enough world building where it's like it connects to the characters, whatever the character interacts with. Everything else, I'm like, yeah, it's there. If I've make another story, it'll come into play. But like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yeah.
How about you?
I'd say probably prose in and of itself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those that don't know, prose is your writing style, the way you write out the sentences, the individual sentences on how your story goes. And each person has like a different way of doing that. And I'd say that's probably my personal greatest strength. Just knowing how to incorporate descriptions of the world within dialogue and still keeping like an equal balance and keeping things interesting while not also info dumping and doing a lot of exposition. Because I do understand that the dialogue is where the conflict is, and the conflict is where the story is. And so just like the way I write things, I feel like I have that kind of down, and my writing style is solid, and it kind of projects kind of like an artist's art style in but for writing, just how I write my books. And I kind of have that down specifically with fight scenes. Just knowing the other side of it, like the internal conflict side of it, rather than just the external actions, and having an equal balance of, oh, he hit and he ducked and spun and she hit the ground, etc., with also having the dialogue between two characters who one betrayed them and the other one's upset about it and wants to know why, kind of thing. So just kind of all the pros of it is where I'd say probably my greatest strength is, and within that specifically fight scenes.
Yeah, you've just got that like your style down there, and like if it comes to writing a fight scene, you know how you're gonna do it, approaching both the internal and the external. Interesting. Yeah, I definitely don't have that down at all.
If you need help.
Yeah, I think that's just gonna come with time, though.
Yeah.
It's like I will figure out what I like doing and my method and what works and what doesn't.
Once you actually start writing.
Yeah, I just have to start writing.
Yeah.
To start figuring out what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I definitely have a style, but I don't know if it's a good or bad. But yeah, I would say reading your stuff, I've seen that a little.
I can, I
Definitely.
can definitely see it in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, interesting. Now I'm gonna flip that question on its head. What do you think, as a writer or an author, is your weakest? Like
Ooh.
your weakest area?
Probably plot holes.
Plot
Trying
holes.
to figure those out.
Really?
Yeah.
Plot holes.
I'd say like the actual plotting process is really hard for me. Cause I don't know how to force myself to have ideas. And I know there is a way. It's tough, but there is a way, and I have not figured that out yet. And so whenever I have this story idea, I'm going through it, and I have all of my compiled outlines that I have pulled from authors like Abby Emmons and her 3-act story structure, and I just need to fill out and answer all the little questions. So I start going through that. I like being told what to do in that regard.
Okay.
And having like a set checklist, like, oh, answer this question and like figure this out. But then I get to the point where I'm like, oh, well, I don't know what to do with this. And this character needs to go on this adventure, but she doesn't have the means to. So what is the means? And I'm like, I have no idea. And then I'm like, okay, bye. I'm not going to work on you right now. And so I just sit there and the plot holes just stay, and I just don't know how to get past it.
Okay. Very
So
interesting. That's like the exact opposite of me. I love plotting and fixing plot holes. Just asking like questions and like trying to get to the bottom of like, where haven't we figured this out? Where will the reader try to dig and like see what have you done? Where did you not do this? Did you not think about this? What about this?
Yeah.
And it's like having answers, and like that's part of the world building process. Like
True.
even with the plot, it's like you have to like think through that. And I hate when I'm like given a bunch of questions I have to answer, it's like, why? Why can't I just do what I want? Why do I have to go in a structure? And it's like I've had to learn like you can use the principles of structure and you can use the structure. It's like, okay, you have to understand why though.
Yeah. Learn
Otherwise,
the rules before you break them.
yeah, that kind of a thing. Because otherwise it's like you could just be lost. But sometimes there's a lot of the things where it's like I don't know a single term. I don't understand any of it, but I understand storytelling and it's like
Mm,
I understand why you need to do stuff and it's like
yeah.
I some of it I'm like, yeah, I think it's cool that we have these structures that we can use. But a lot of the times I'm like, who needs structure? We're like, come on, we're writers. We're just gonna figure out how the story has to play itself out. We're gonna make the world, make the characters, and we know the plot, and then we just make it happen.
The
And it's like,
plot is the structure, though.
who needs like for a lot of my stuff, I'm like act story structure. I'm like, that doesn't really line up with the way my stories go.
Yeah.
And there's other ones that work,
Yeah.
and like Hero's Journey, again, barely like
I mean, they're more of a guideline than
Yeah.
necessarily like rigid
line,
form. So
yeah.
once you understand it, you can morph it
Morph it
Yeah.
to kind
go
of
off.
where you want the story to go. But they all fall under that general category. You can
Yeah.
diagram
Mhm.
certain points in your story where, like, okay, this is about this, and this is generally over here, and
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Exactly. It's like it feels like even though like you're like, yeah, this is a 3-act story structure, except Act 1 is 89% of the book. Act
Oh
2
my
appears
gosh.
for half a second in the one scene,
You
and then
don't
there's
have the
Act
muddy
3.
middle
There
problem.
are 3-act story structures for a trilogy series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like again, that can be a thing. I don't think about it personally because it just messes with me because I'm like, nah.
But
it has to just
generally,
happen.
the way I've used the 3-act story structure is not for like necessarily what externally happens.
Mhm.
It has helped me more answer why.
Yeah.
Because as a writer, the why is like the most important thing. So it's like, oh, you have your inciting incident. It's the thing that pushes the character into their fear. And obviously, as a human being, they're going to run. So, what is going to happen? And why is it pushing their character into the fear? And why are they going to be reacting to it? Kind
Mhm.
of thing. So, that's helped me kind of go deeper into that, not necessarily like, oh, she like externally what are they going to face?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
But it helps you understand why.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then
It-
once I can answer all
that's
the
funny.
why, I can take it all out of the 3-act story structure, what externally happens, and then if I want to switch a little couple things up or add something in between, I still have the why and
Mhm.
generally where they're going to be, but I
Yeah.
can still tweak it.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean. Like, once you understand it, you have kind of the freedom to be like, I'd rather it go this way, and
Yeah.
kind of bend it to your will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. For me, it oftentimes does the opposite though, because I start thinking in the structure and I'm like, I forget the why. It's just like, why do they have to do it this way? Why can't they do it this other way?
Mm.
Because that makes sense more in the characters and the plot. And then, it is a helpful guideline to help you figure it out. But I
Mhm.
think you can apply it to everything if you like bend it and look at it the right way. But personally, for me, it's more confusing.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
that's because I look at stories a little differently because I've only world built for most of it. So I'm
Yeah.
looking at the characters and the world not only in the like lens of the plot, even though the lens of the plot is the whole story basically. Um, and so I've more shaped the world to fit what the plot is, but the world running on itself because of like the way naturally things happen, it forces the story.
Yeah.
Cuz that's the other thing like I'm because of all the world building, we barely thought about what's actually happening in the story.
Yeah.
Like we knew a few things, but like there's so much that we've made up about this world that just does not serve the plot at all.
That's
But it
why
then ends up working
we-
so well in the story because it just makes sense naturally in the world. And then it feeds in. It's like, oh, and then when this happens, it'll immediately get used. And it's like, it all comes in like handy, if that makes sense. Like,
Mm.
you don't, when you're creating it, you don't necessarily have to think about, well, how is this going to serve the plot? But once it fits in the world, it serves the plot anyway.
Yeah.
Mm.
So it is very interesting. But yeah.
I guess that's where you come up with. It begs the question: does the world building come first, or does the plot come first?
Yeah.
So that's
For
hard.
a future episode.
Yeah, we'll save that one. But
Oh.
what would you say your weakness is?
I feel like it's one of two.
One
It's
of two?
either world building, because I'll do enough to serve like whatever I'm curious for. Like, could, this timeline logically take place? Okay, could like scientifically this work? And I just figure out enough that whatever my characters are existing in, it works.
Mhm.
It's like in one of my stories, they go to this one place, but I don't touch like the rest of the world.
Mm.
I'm like, yeah, it's generally in a worse state than where they are, but like they're not going to go there.
Yeah.
And so I feel like world building is a little bit of my weakness. I've also been told character voice I
Character
struggle
voice?
with, which I can figure it out, but I have to really work to get the voices separate, because there's a point where like
Yeah.
my eyes don't see the difference anymore. I can hear the difference in my head, but I can't convey it properly.
Mm.
So that I really have to work to make sure that it like I don't have a tag, and you
Mhm.
can still tell this is this character, and then this is his
Mhm.
sister, and then this
Yeah.
is his friend, like without saying she said this like
Yeah.
every single time.
Mm. That's interesting. Yeah. Character voice.
Yeah. It had to be pointed out to me first too. It was like I can't tell which character's which. Like if I'm just reading, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, let me go like read a few books here. You know?
Yeah.
That's why I'd say probably character personality should be like very distinct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I can get like their personality and like the actions they do, and kind of like, oh well, how would this character be, be sitting? How would he interact with the other characters? But then if it's just a conversation between two characters, it's like, how do I make sure they're separate without giving one of them like a hillbilly accent or something, like
Yeah.
I can like actually type out like, and they're missing a few letters here and there, but
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, that is hard because you really have to flesh out a character in that point. Like you really got to know the differences
yeah.
and where they're at.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's interesting. That's very
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah. I think my weakness as an author or a writer is writing itself, because I don't do it. And then I think as a subsection of that, dialogue. I'm so
Okay.
bad at dialogue.
Oh.
I love dialogue that's good, but I cannot figure it out for the life of me.
Mm.
And I mean, it takes a lot of editing, and I can get somewhere that's like, okay, yeah, I can see your characters could say that, but it's not like, it's not satisfying to me. I'm like, this is not where it needs to be. And it takes a minute for me to get there. And then other than that, it's just I'm still learning how to write in a lot of those ways. So it's like I've worked with stories and analyzed them since I was like little.
Mm-hmm.
But it's now finally being like, how do you write that?
Yeah.
How do you
yeah.
apply
How
all of
do
that?
How do you
Analyzing.
take that knowledge and apply it correctly?
Yeah.
And in some ways, it's been easier than I thought. I was like, oh, it's not as big as I hyped it up to be. But on another level, it's like I still need to more work on it, just so that I can get to a level where it's like, okay, I don't need to edit this 5 times before I can send it to someone. And I mean, even over this last semester, I feel like I've gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
because I've forced myself to write.
Yeah.
Like I just had to write
Maybe
a
you
scene.
should join in the $5 challenge.
No, I will be making $5 from each of you.
Mm.
But no,
If we don't hit our word count.
yeah. I need that money.
Hey, I wrote 12 pages of a battle scene, so I think I'm good for the week.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't know. This last like fight scene I had to write, it it worked out better. It was a lot easier to write. I still definitely needed to edit it, but I didn't have the characters fully fleshed out, and I was still able to keep them distinct and keep it interesting, but it was
Yeah.
it was interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
So, I'm getting better. It's just taking a minute. So, yeah,
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah, so that were our 3 questions. And yeah, we did it. Yay.
Congratulations,
Mm.
us.
Yeah. So, subscribe to For the Plot. Like if you liked it. If you don't,
Too bad. Like it anyway.
comment that you didn't like it. Yeah.
So yeah. Well,
Goodbye.
bye-bye.